since. This is my first video in a while, so I apologize not only for the setup, but also for some rust that I might have um, on my videos. Just leave your feedback as always, and I'll be sure to continue to read it. Let's get straight into it. I decided to show you the pictures on my phone. I'll be showing them here. And instead of kind of just presenting and editing them into the video, I feel like it kind of gives you a little bit of an ASMR aspect to it when you show things, physical things. Next time I will try to get like some kind of book, flags, something like that, to kind of show you guys. I feel like it's a lot better. And also, we have my glasses case. It's really nice. It does some really nice tapping sounds. I decided that I wanted to do some tapping, as that was kind of my first big trigger when I started into ASMR, when I started listening to it and getting more into it. So, let's get straight into it. As you've seen by now, the first flag we have is the beautiful flag of Argentina. This flag has two things that I really enjoy. Number one is the color blue. This shade of blue is kind of one of my favorite shades of blue. It's really, really, really nice. And also, this sun in the middle. I even have some earrings that have kind of this, it's not exactly this, but kind of this shape and this face. I feel like it's very mysterious for some reason. It is kind of like smiling, isn't it? And I like I have low battery. And I kind of like I don't know, the vibe that it gives to the flag. It makes it really, really pretty. Really simple, but also really striking. Some fun facts, I'll leave the flag in here for now. Some fun facts about Argentina. I was researching, and they have the highest vineyard in the world. So this vineyard is 3 kilometers above sea level, and this is where the Malbec wine comes from. I don't know if any of you know the Malbec wine. I'm not that much of a wine connoisseur, I would say. I don't appreciate it that much. I feel like I still have to grow into the taste of it. But certainly having a vineyard at 3 kilometers above sea level probably makes very good wine. Argentina is of course the country where a lot of football is adored and worshipped due to legends, of course, like Lionel Messi and Diego Maradona. I've seen when they won the World Cup, their like main avenue, I think it's the 9th of July Avenue in Buenos Aires. And it was crazy because it's such a wide and big avenue and everyone was there. It was really crazy moments. Well played to Argentina. Next up, we have Belgium. Beautiful country of Belgium. This flag is very simple. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but in terms of the colors, yeah, I don't mind them, I would say. Some things that I found out about Belgium was that they host the biggest sand sculpture festival called Sand Magic. I don't know why, but I've always adored sand sculptures. It's it looks like it's so cool how they make those huge sculptures. Definitely have a look if you can uh, at this festival. There's probably, if it's the world's biggest or if it's the largest, then it probably has some really good bangers. The thing that struck me the most though about Belgium was that they have kind of like a beer sewer system, like a pipeline under the ground. I think in one, I don't know which city now, I cannot remember, but one of the cities they kind of have this, and these pipes they can deliver around 4,000 liters of beer per hour at speeds of 36 kilometers per hour, or 22 miles per hour. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing ever. And it makes sense because instead of having trucks taking beer all over the place, that's why they did it. They kind of just have it one central place that gets all the beer and then gets distributed. I mean, I don't know how clean the thing is, but to be fair, after a couple of beers, and if you have access to 4,000 liters per hour, you probably won't care that much. Still, it's an amazing fact. And I have to go to Belgium now because, it's just amazing to try out that beer pipeline. Next up, is it this side or that side? I never know. There you go. I don't know why this showed up, but here we go. Next up, we have Brazil. Brazil, 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 Brazil. Brazil. A very close country to me, not geographically or physically, because I am in the UK, but the reason is that I am Portuguese. So we speak the same language, different dialect, but the same language. And I was trying to look for kind of facts about Brazil that weren't that commonly known. And the one that I liked the most was the fact that Brazil is the country with the most Japanese people outside of Japan, which is quite cool, in my opinion. It has around 1.5 million people, 1.5 million Japanese people. That's like 10% or 15% of the whole population of Portugal. So that is quite cool. Of course, Brazil, once again, their flag is very, very unique. I really like the fact that it says like order and progress in the middle. To my mistake, I didn't research about these little dots in this globe, but I will research into that because that probably has a very interesting story. And of course, has the green and the yellow, which for me just, I don't know, it just reminds me of, the jungle, like, I don't know, I really like the flag. It reminds me of like skillers in football. That's what it reminds me, really. It's a really cool flag, I would say. I really like the green, yellow and blue. Makes it look really, really nice. Anyways, next up we have Canada. See, I love it when it fills my screen really nicely. That's amazing. Canada, 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 Canada. Canada is one of my favorite countries in the world. Of course, we have the maple leaf. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the maple leaf. In terms of flag, I don't. Doesn't strike me that much. Doesn't really. It's not like wow of a flag for me, at least. Remember, this is my personal opinion only. Um, but it is still very simple. I like when flags are quite simple and quite recognizable. And I feel like Canada is really, really like recognizable. Um, it's not like just three strips when there's like the Belgian flag. Sometimes people mistaken it for German or Hungarian or something like that, where there's only three strips of color. But because of the leaf, people know exactly immediately that it's Canada. Canada, it's really cool because not only of their lifestyle, their infrastructures, their size, their biodiversity, um, but also some of the cool things that I found is that Canada has the longest street in the world, and it's nearly 2,000 kilometers, or nearly 1,200 miles, which is absolutely bonkers. Go look that up, definitely. Um, I kind of like this type of like geographical, you know, interesting things, and I have a list of like places I want to go before I die, full of these like interesting and not very common geographical places. And I definitely want to go to this street. That's just baffling. Imagine the amount of house numbers that exists. I'm sure they divide it in a logical way there, but still. Um, Imagine you were a postman and you got assigned this street, Young Street. That would be funny. Anyways, I diverge. Canada also, and I knew this before, it has a lot of lakes. I think it's in Canada where you have, there's a country and there's a lake and there's an island within the lake and there's a lake within that island and there's an island within that lake within that island within that lake within the country. It's something like that. Go look it up. I think it's in Canada, but there's a place that's like that, like Lake Island Inception. Anyways, Canada contains around 60% of the world lakes, over 2 million lakes. And there are some huge ones that are basically seas. There are smaller ones. It's crazy, really. It's crazy. Enough about Canada, though. I love the country, but we must move on. And the next one is Colombia. Colombia. Colombia is a very, very nice country with a lot of biodiversity. The South America, the north of South America is very, very tropical, so you get a lot of biodiversity. In terms of flag, I do like what they went for. I like the fact that it's bigger, it's not equal three strips, and that makes it a little bit more recognizable. I wouldn't mind if they added like a coat of arms or some kind of image in the middle, but they didn't, and that's fine. I actually like the colors as well. I like the combination of colors. And I was mentioning biodiversity, and in fact, Colombia is the country with the most different species of birds, and it has around 1,900 species of birds. That is absolutely ridiculous. You can tell I'm a bit rusty because I keep looking at the screen and not at you. I'm deeply sorry for this distraction, but I just want to make sure things are in frame. I need to get used to it. And I'm also looking at my notes because I don't have that capacity of memory. Anyways, Colombia is also the only country that has a coastline in the Caribbean and in the Pacific Sea, which is quite cool to be fair, because if you think it's kind of like, goes from the left to the top. Yep. Anyways, you get it. If you go to Google Maps, you see that. It's not a very big Caribbean coastline, but it's still there. And there's a really interesting river called the River Caño Cristales. Apologies for the pronunciation in advance. But this river, it's kind of the, the rainbow river. It has like colors. I think it's because of the rocks of the river. They give it this kind of like 5 different colors to the river. It looks like a rainbow, really. And if you watch the movie Encanto, there's a river like that. It was inspired in this river in Colombia, which is really cool. Again, I always like this weird and colorful, geographical areas that occur naturally. Really, there's some mountains in Peru as well that also are very colorful. They got the Rainbow Mountains in English, of course, but it's really cool. I looked it up and it's really cool. Let's go to the next country though. Not there. Czechia. It used to be called Czech Republic, but it has recently, I believe, changed its name to Czechia, which I much prefer, because calling Czech Republic is the same thing as calling Portugal Portuguese Republic. So Czechia, it's its name, it's official name. It's really nice. I really like Czechia, and I feel like it's a really great country, especially Prague. I really enjoyed Prague, their capital. It's so beautiful. Reminds me of my own city, Porto, but like in steroids basically, because it has castles, it has old monuments, it has cool streets, it has cool people. It's just a nice capital city. And another cool thing about it is that it's the geographical center of Europe, and I'm a sucker for these things. I absolutely adore this kind of like westernmost point of the world. Not that that is possible, of course, but like the northernmost point and the southernmost point. The fact that it's the geographical center of Europe is just cooler. It's not Prague that it's the geographical center, but it's a city there. I forgot the name now. And that is quite cool. I really like those kind of things. I don't know why. It also has the biggest castle complex in the world, with around 70,000 square meters or 750,000 square feet. That is a lot of castle. It is. It never ends, basically. It's quite cool. Anyways, big props to Czechia. Really like the country. It's really different from everything else around its side as well. Now we have a very old and very rich in culture Egyptian country, an Egyptian flag. The flag itself, it's very similar to Yemen, to Iraq, and to Iran. I want to say that's right. I think that's those four. But the difference is all of them have something different, except for Yemen, which doesn't have anything in the middle. It's just the 3 colors. I like the kind of bird figure that's in here. I'm not sure what bird it is, but it is quite cool looking. In terms of cool facts about Egypt, well, it is a country with a lot of history. It's practically the birth of humanity, is very close to Egypt. What I realized is that it's also home for the world's oldest dress. It's more than 5,000 years. And it's called a Tarkan dress. Tarkan dress. Maybe nice city called Sharm el Sheikh. It's a city more inclined to holiday resorts. If you're intending to go to the pyramids, I would definitely advise Cairo to see the more of the cultural side of Egypt. But nevertheless, it was a really good experience to meet at least the people of Egypt and some other people from the Middle East, from Dubai, mainly. Anyway, they're very, very nice people. They're really giving and they're really caring as well. So it was really, really nice to meet everyone. I got friends with a guy that ran a shop there. It was really nice. One of the most wholesome experiences I've ever had. Next up, we have. Oops, let's just zoom out to the other side. France. Beautiful, archaic, classic. I don't have any more adjectives, but everyone knows what France is. In terms of flag, I like it. Color-wise, it's very French. That's all I can say. And I know what you're saying. Oh, it's it's because it's the French flag, but trust me, there are flags. Like I could be like, yeah, that could be the flag of some other country, but this flag is really, really French. It just screams baguette. Anyway, been to Paris, been to France. It's a very lovely city. It's definitely a city that inspires you, and the country itself inspires you. The people inspired you. I like it. That's it, basically. A reminder as well that all of this is just my personal opinion, my personal experience, so take it with a grain of salt. And I would love to hear your opinions as well. It's always enriching to hear other people's stories, other people's experiences. It just makes everything better. Anyways, France has the highest number of time zones, and they have 12 time zones. When I read this, I was like, what about Russia, or China, or the United States? But the thing is, France has a lot of overseas territories, which are considered like France. For real, they're not independent, they're part of France. They're France overseas territories. They have it next to the Caribbean, they have in South America, they have in Southeast Asia, I believe. I might be wrong, so correct me there. Which just means that they have 12 different time zones, officially. And they also have the world's largest sand dune. And when I read about this, that was crazy. I really like sand dunes. It's sad that they get more and more extinct nowadays. But this sand dune is called Dune de Bila. And it has heights up to 110 meters, which is ridiculous. And just imagine rolling down it. It would be quite fun. Just be like sand. And this sand dune also stretches out for nearly 3 kilometers, which is basically nearly 2 miles of sand dune. It's absolutely baffling. Absolutely baffling. Anyways, let's move on. Don't want to waste much of your time out here. One of the coolest flags in the world, one of the most simple flags in the world, and it actually got a redesign. This flag. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that meme, but it's not a meme actually. It's actually for real. That Japan redesigned their flag, and it's exactly the same thing, but the circle was a little bit more red. So they made it less red. I am sure there was obvious reasons for this. Or maybe I'm just being fooled by the internet. There was no redesign at all, but I don't know. Nevertheless, once again, it's Japan. You cannot think of anything else. Maybe South Korea. You could remember if they have flag seeing this, but no, it's Japan. It's an iconic flag. It's very powerful flag as well. I believe the circle symbolizes the sun, rising sun. Might be wrong. In terms of fun facts, Japan also has a lot of history. Lot of it's such a culturally rich country. It's amazing. But the coolest things I found about it was that there's two islands in Japan that are very worth visiting. It's amazing because Japanese are known, I believe at least I know Japanese people that to be very, very friendly, to be very polite with you, very respectful. And one of the islands that they have there is called Miyajima Island. Once again, apologies for that pronunciation, but this island is basically home to around 1,000 deers, and this is not wild deers. This is deers that are very friendly and tame, so they come to you and play around with you. It's like so cool just to have deers available to kind of be with you. And then in terms of the other islands that they have there, and apologies, I have to get close to kind of read this. It's called Tashirojima Island. Tashirojima Island. Tashirojima Island. Tashirojima Islands. It's an island that's only habitable by 100 people. But that's not why it's cool. It's because there's a lot more cats than people there. It's mainly habited by cats. I don't know what the ratio is, unfortunately. From what I've gathered, there's a lot of cats there. So, it's amazing. You get to experience friendly deers, probably very friendly cats, very, very friendly people. I don't know why you don't go to Japan. Very cool flag as well. Lastly, we're gonna go. I always make a mistake on doing this, don't I? To one of the most unique flags in the world. Shape-wise, it is the most unique flag in the world. It's the only country, this one, with a non-rectangular flag. These white bits that you are here, they're not part of the flag. It's just so it's like for the image. The flag is just the two triangles. And if you haven't guessed it by now, this is Nepal's flag. A really, really interesting country. Has a lot of UNESCO heritage sites, protected sites. Home to Mount Everest, of course, and a dozen billions of big and tall mountains. And also home to the highest lake in the world at around 4 kilometers above sea level, which should be chilly. I really like Nepal's flag, and I really like the country itself as well. It's really cool. It has one of the most dangerous airports in the world as well. Very high altitude. But anyways, that was all the flags that we had for today. All the facts we had for today. I really enjoy making these videos. And I will enjoy even more knowing about your country, your flag, and about some facts about your country. So, if you want to, please feel free to reach out. Drop it in the comments, Let's share some common facts between us. Be kind of cool with it, instead of what people think, that we geography people are nerds. Anyways, I hope you have a really, really nice rest of your day, evening, afternoon, weekend, whatever it is. I hope you enjoy it. And thank you so much for getting thus far. Have a nice time.